Hello and welcome to CIBER Focus, your source for international business information. My name is Sarah Coe and our guest today is Miss Katie Beck. Miss Beck earned her bachelor's from the Kelley School of Business at Indiana University and a Juris Doctor degree from the Northeastern University School of Law. Now, she is the founder of the Rich Coast Project, a participatory storytelling and research project in southern Caribbean Costa Rica. Her travels to this country were life-changing, eventually leading her to spearhead this initiative aimed to support and protect the rich cultural heritage of coastal Afro-Caribbean populations, as well as other communities living along Costa Rica's Talamanca coast. So today, Katie will share with us the reasons behind her passion and motivation for starting the Rich Coast Project and positive impacts this nonprofit organization has left in the country. Katie, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's go ahead and start with our first question. Tell us about the Rich Coast Project and what inspired you to start this organization?
Sure. Well, the Rich Coast Project is really a community-wide effort for these communities who live on the southern Caribbean coast of Costa Rica to have a chance to document their own story and put together their identity and their history in one place so that they might have a platform to better defend their own rights and also have a resource of information for education for future generations. So the way it started was actually while I was attending law school at Northeastern. I was lucky enough to have the chance to go spend my last semester interning with an attorney who lives in the region named Emily Yozel. She was an alma mater of my same law school. And while I was there, I began studying this land rights conflict that's been ongoing for many years. And I won't bore you with the details of it because it's rather complex, and that's part of the problem, is that it's so complex that a lot of people who are living there and are faced with the possible consequences of this land instability, they don't always quite know what's going on, and it's changing a lot as well. So it's hard, to say the least, for a lot of people to know exactly how to defend their land, which in a place like this is so closely tied to their cultural heritage. There are multiple generations of people on the same land, and it's a place that's experiencing really, really rapid change. So security of title and property ownership is very important. So when I was studying it, my real interest was in first of all, trying to understand as best as I could the actual legislative and legal history of property ownership in the region, but then also understanding how the instability around this has been affecting actual people. So I started by conducting a series of interviews with people, trying to understand what sorts of impact it's having on their lives, how it's changing their ability to produce income, how it's changing their feelings of connection to their communities, what sort of psychological impact this type of instability of not knowing whether or not your property is yours, or whether or not your home might be torn down for being a few meters too close to the shore. So there's all these different impacts it has, and on a human level, that was really my interest. So over multiple visits after that's the first trip down there, and talking with lots of different people, this idea of creating some sort of community-based project that would actually build a platform so that the community could document its own story started to crystallize. So that's what we've been working on for the past few years now, and it's a long, slow process, but it's one that involves the effort of a lot of different people, and it's been very rewarding to see the type of collaboration that it's starting to forge within the community, and also within an international community as well, as we've been able to involve students from different universities around the world and bring in volunteers from different places to become a part of it. So it's been very inspiring to see people come together around something that feels important, because it's issues that relate to all of us as human beings, not just for this specific community, but it's really these ideas of home and belonging and what sort of right you should have to be able to protect that and pass that on to future generations. That's what we're really interested in exploring and finding a way to document and share.
Well, it definitely sounds very extensive and very practical at the same time. So how do you think your education background in both business and law degree, how were you able to really practically apply and use them in your line of work right now?
Well, in many ways. So in terms of the business degree, I studied management and international business and legal studies. So that sort of prepped me in a way to at least have the confidence to embark on trying to wrangle a project of this magnitude into something that's feasible. Granted, it's a process and it's an ongoing process, but I feel that I have the capacity and the skills to do it because of the education that I was privileged enough to have here at IU and also at Northeastern.
Well, I'm sure working for and in a foreign country comes with its own set of challenges. Maybe you could share with us some of them and maybe also how you were able to overcome them.
I don't know if overcome is the best word, but adjust and accommodate maybe is a better way to say it. But yeah, it certainly does. And a lot of it is, there's practical differences, the conceptions of time that are just different, setting a meeting time and then that being a suggestion of when people start showing up. So there's some like practical realities that you have to learn to adjust with and accept, and in a way just learn how to let go of a type of control that we're sometimes conditioned to feel like we have over situations. And that also comes with the fact that I'm a foreigner, so it's kind of just understanding the reality that even though I'm working with a community on a project within that community, I'm not actually from that community. So it's a sense of respect I have to have for that reality. There's the language barrier, so that's been a process for me as well. When I started this project, my Spanish was like, okay. It's improved a lot over the course of this, and that's been a source of a lot of frustration for me personally, but it's been also a good impetus for me to actively focus on improving the skills that I need to be able to do and accomplish the things that I want to do. So it's challenging to say the least, but it's all the time good learning opportunities, and those are things that I think are valuable will be valuable for me moving forward in whatever sort of professional path my life takes. But also things that I think teach somebody to be flexible and open-minded and patient.
Absolutely, I think everyone could agree with that. So I hear some Kelley students from here at Indiana University were able to travel to Costa Rica and devote their time and effort to help support your project and your cause. Could you maybe share some details of that experience?
Yes, so last spring break, this past March of 2015, I was so happy and lucky to start this partnership with the undergraduate Kelley School of Business through their initiatives for social impact. So every year they send various groups of students to different parts of the United States and a few different countries, international projects, where they partner with local organizations to complete week-long service projects in the communities. So last year our project, the Rich Coast Project, was brought on as a partner organization, so we helped coordinate a week of activities within one of the local communities where we work, Manzanillo. So it was a chance for a group of undergraduate business students to come down and work alongside the project, the Rich Coast Project, and also a whole group of local folks and learn about topics of responsible tourism and the role of local business within a small community. So we had various educational opportunities, we had some discussions about different things, they had the chance to interview local business owners, and then we also partnered with a local women's cooperative to help them paint the house that they've been working in to produce handcrafts out of recycled materials and natural products that they find in the forests and the beaches around them. And it was a really rewarding experience. I was just so grateful to be able to partner with my alma mater, and also so pleased with the attitude that the students brought and the open mind and the enthusiasm. It was just really made me very proud.
And I guess that brings us to our final question. So as a social empowerment and grassroots organizer and practitioner yourself, what kind of opportunities do you think lie in Costa Rica for-profit and for nonprofit, businesses or even development harbingers who are interested in that field?
Yeah, Costa Rica is a very interesting country in that it's one of the most stable governments and economies of Latin America. Its economy is mostly based around tourism and certain forms of ecotourism. So there's any number of opportunities for people looking to get involved in Costa Rica. I think one thing that I would like to mention and point out and make people conscientious of is that going to a country like this, it's very important going anywhere in the world, really, to any country. If you're looking to really support the local economy, it's important to think about where you're actually spending your money. So especially when we're talking about ecotourism and thinking what that actually means and being critical of how it's actually put into practice, because it's another field that's ripe for exploitation. So as a tourist or someone looking to get involved, I think to think really carefully about how the organizations or programs that you're working with actually interact with the local community and what sort of benefit is given to the local community, and that they're actually actively involved in not just the execution, but if possible, the development of whatever it is that you're doing, because those are the voices that need to be listened to if you're hoping to do any type of meaningful work within their community.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much, Katie, for coming in to tell us your exciting and worthwhile project.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Of course. Well, that's all for this edition of Cyber Focus. Thank you for joining us. Now, if you have any comments or suggestions for other future topics, please contact us at CIBER, that's CIBER, @indiana.edu.